Hey everybody, it's the Bulldog, Mr. Metalhead Warrior. How you guys doing after today? Hope you guys staying warm, cozy, whatever. It's a little bit chilly here in New York. Anyways, let me get to it. I've been going through like all new stuff and listening to different new things, but in between I've listened to just some odds and ends and just something to keep me going. I'll just throw something on while I'm doing something here in the studio or around the house. I thought I'd share you guys with which ones I've been listening to. One of the first one is Motorhead. As you guys know, I'm a huge Motorhead fan. Excuse me. I always said my top two favorite bands in the world are my top one. That's Motorhead and Maiden. One of my favorite releases by them, Snake by Love. This came out in '98, I believe it was. This is like their, I think, 15th or 16th studio release, among numerous EPs and compilations and this and that, boxes, live albums. I like this record a lot. I think this was, Motorhead hitting their prime with this record. Again, typical Motorhead fashion. Straight up heavy metal, a little bit of speed in there. Some of these songs are just amazing songs. I think Lemmy wrote some of the most, some of the greatest songs. Period. And the way Motorhead was, they didn't put out. I don't think they really put out a really bad record in their entire career. I'm not just saying that because I'm a huge Motorhead fan. Top to bottom, he had so many great albums, and this album came out like a few years after 1916 came out. And that 1916 by far I think is one of their greatest, if not their greatest record. Period. And records that follow that were just as good, and the amount of live recordings that they did, bootlegs that became unofficial releases. You know, Motorhead always been that band for me. You know, that loud Rickenbacker. And I've seen Motorhead many a times. I had the fortunate of meeting the guys from Motorhead, once or twice. So yeah, but definitely Snake by Love. I absolutely love this record. Some of the songs are Dogs of War, a classic Motorhead track. Snake by Love, the title track. Don't Lie to Me, another heavy song by them. Nightside, Desperate for You, so I'm Better Off Dead. I think it's classic Motorhead. There's the guys right there. The iconic picture of them. Love the album covers on this. It's just straightforward, hard hitting, old school, heavy metal, a little bit of speed in there, rock. Just vintage. I think it's vintage Lemmy, vintage Motorhead. Rest in peace, Lemmy. I miss you, as do a lot of other people. Definitely, yeah. I just been, going through between listening to new stuff, and just doing stuff around. I'll just throw things in, and that was one of those I've been listening to often. So yeah, definitely. It's definitely one of my favorite by them. Definitely, I'm a huge Motorhead fan. So definitely, if you guys are into Motorhead, check out that record. Great record. Next one, by a band called Forced Entry. They only put out like 2 records. This one came out in '91, and then this is the As Above, So Below record that they put out. They put out another one in '89, Uncertain Future, which the remaster, the reissue of Uncertain Future also has the EP The Short on it. I have that over there somewhere. Actually, it's over here behind me. Um, these guys were a weird band at first. Um, they had the thrash elements to them. They had the speed, but they had like a groove, like an early groove metal funk almost type to them. They're a great band. I know they have a couple of tracks that they played on MTV when they early on in their career. Um, this one is on Thunderhead, the great track. More Dicks, Apathy, As of Yesterday. You know, they weren't that normal, you know, thrash type speed band. You know, a lot of people didn't like them at first. Some loved them. Um, I'll admit, I was one of the ones that they grew on me. Like when I first heard them. Oh, yeah, my show's been bothering me. What I was saying, when I first heard them, I didn't really like them that much. But over time, you know, their albums, their style grew on me. Because they're like their first run, their first one, their first EPs that they put out were straight up thrash, mixed with some speed. This one's more of a, you know, like a thrash groove type, you know, funk in their mix. They have a couple demos out. They did was it 89 or 90? They did a split album with I believe it's Devastation. That barely seen the light of day. They also did another EP. I think it was like early 90s. I'm talking like 92, 93. I think it was maybe 94. EP. I forgot the name of it right now, but that was the last thing they really ever did. I know the early 2000s, they were doing one-offs. Um, you know, show here or show there, but it didn't come back to anything. I know they were talking about early 2000s also coming out with a comeback record, and that never ever came about. I don't know why. I mean, I think it would have been cool to see them, you know, come back, you know, put out one big album, you know, and do like a small tour with it. You know, they never did. That's it right there. That's the fourth entry. Um, as above, so below. It's really not a bad record. Like I said, these guys grew on me. They're not gonna acquire taste, you know, but old school thrash speed with some funk mix in there, some groove, like early groove metal type stuff. If you're into like Ex-Hoarder, things like that, Exodus, uh, you know, around that line, that type, definitely check them out. Like I said, they put two records, and the reissue of Uncertain Future, which came out in '89. They did a reissue of it. That came with the EP The Short on it also. So definitely check these guys out. You know, some blast from the past in a way. Next one I listen to is Destruction, my favorite record by them. Absolute favorite record, released from Agony. Love this record. It's like one of the first times I heard them. I had to go back when I first heard this. It was like '87ish, I think it was. '88, yeah. No, I'm sorry. '86. Wow. I remember my brother had Sentence to Death and Infernal Overkill on, it was like tape, if I'm not mistaken. I remember hearing those. And I remember I dubbed those tapes from him, and I think I dubbed this from him too. And I was hooked on them from there. They're coming out with a new record, 2025, called I had to write it down to make sure I was right with it. Birth of Malice. I heard a couple tracks from it. They released a couple on YouTube, and I think on iTunes, if I'm not mistaken. They sound pretty good. I think the past few Destruction albums have been great. I'm sort of partial because I've been to Destruction a long time. You know they've always been part of that big four of German thrash. It was always Destruction, Creator, Sodom, Sadist along that line. They always fit that mold. But yeah, they're come on, new record. The last one was Diabolical. I think it was 2022. It was. It's right behind me actually. I thought that was pretty good. Then they came out with the live album right after, I think it was the Parish of Thrash or whatever it was called, that record. Um, and I think Destruction has put out some quality records over the past whatever it is now, 35 years now, I think it is for them. That's it right there. I absolutely love that cover. I got this shirt. I love that album. Love the cover of it. The classic look of them. But they got the Antichrist, which I think was a phenomenal record. Eternal Devastation, Spiritual Genocide, I think was a monster of a record. Another one was Under Attack. I know they have had some iffy albums, but I think they've maintained that Destruction sound, the intensity. Give or take a couple iffy albums, but I think Destruction has always just stayed that path. Just like much with the Creator and Sodom for that matter. Three of the big four out of Germany. That's still kicking today. 30, like I said, 36, whatever year it is now, 36, 37 years now. So definitely keep eye out for the new one. It's 2025. Birth of Malice. I think it's supposed to be early 2025. I think it's like February, March, or something like that. I'm stoked for that. So definitely. One of the next ones that I've been listening to. Being into different types of genres, metal, not only the thrash metal, the black metal, the death metal, the dark and death metal, the doom, the progressive, things along that line, the hardcore. One of my favorites, just like a regular rock album, heavy metal album. The Winery Dogs. This one came out in 2013. It's not a bad record. Richie Kotzen's in this, Billy Sheen, and what's his name? Oh my God, my mind just went blank. You know who the drummer I'm talking about? My mind just went blank. Mike Portnoy, thank you. My mind just went absolutely blank for a minute there. One of my favorite drummers. It's not a bad record, guys. It's not. It's nice hard rock, heavy metal undertones to it. I think Portnoy's drumming on this is great. Absolutely amazing drummer on it. I think Richie Kotzen has some of his best material on here. Hands down. I think they put out 2 more after this. If I'm not mistaken. I know I got another one over there by them. But yeah, this type of album is, it's a classic, old hard rock, heavy metal, just a sit back type of album, really not a bad album. It's not over the top or anything, you know. Um, some of the songs on here, "I'm No Angel," "The Other Side," "You Saved Me," which is an extraordinary, extraordinary track. A song called "Damaged." You know, this came out on Loud and Proud Records in 2013. It's I think it's just three great musicians playing together. It's just like a jam session, in my opinion. You know, you got every aspect of it coming into hard rock to heavy metal. You got Portnoy's background with you know with Dream Theater, that power drumming that he does. Makes it, you know, it's got a little progressive in there too. But definitely, if you guys haven't yet, check these guys out. Winery Dogs. This is the self-titled one. Like I said, the hard rock heavy metal mixed in with some power. You know, a little progressive in there, but check them out. Like I said, when it comes to music, especially metal, I'm just all over the place. A lot of things. The next one, I might make people go, huh? I was telling Lee from Warhammer 666. By the way, go check his album out, pick his stuff up on Bandcamp, and check him out on here for Omian Productions. Also, I forgot what exact label that Warhammer's on. I'm sorry, that just slipped my mind. But definitely check out Warhammer 666, Australian black metal. That's all you need to know. Check them out. I was telling Lee, I was listening to, and he goes, "Wow," he goes, "You're diverse, you're all over the place." One of my favorite non-metal artists of all time. Growing up, my father was always playing the oldies, you know, mixed, you know, with other things, to say the least. He was always playing Sinatra, the Rat Pack, Ives, you know, Dean Martin, things along that line. And growing up here on the East Coast, especially in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, all the old timers back then were always playing the old stuff. You know, like I said, the Sinatras, Dean Martin, things along that line. So I grew up around a lot of it, and Elvis, without a doubt. One of my favorites, it'll always be my favorite, is Old Blue Eyes himself, straight from Jersey, Mr. Frank Sinatra. I have a bunch of his stuff. There's times you just, you know, you just wanna sit back, relax, you know, you just throw some stuff on. You know, a lot of times, for me personally, Sinatra's music's always helped me think better. Of things I want to do. Like if I'm trying to put something together on here, I'll just throw him on. Just, you know, just kick back, relax. You know, get away from all the fucking noise, whether it's on TV, with life, on here, you know, bullshit with people, you know. But yeah, I'm very. Some of my favorite stuff is the oldies. You can't go wrong with listening to Old Blue Eyes himself. I don't care what anybody says. Anybody. You could be. People like say, "Oh, you can't listen to that." Who says? Be yourself. You know. And somebody once told me it's not a guilty pleasure. It's a pleasure listening to it. Period. Which, yes. You know, this has mostly all of his great tracks. Like I said, I got a bunch of them, a bunch of his stuff on CD. You know, My Way, the famous song by him, Sending the Clowns, and of course the overplayed, redone. Yeah, I always said the only person that can sing New York, New York is Blue Eyes. You know, you got all these people in the mainstream doing it now. Anybody that's been to the city knows what I'm talking about. You walk across the Brooklyn Bridge, my favorite bridge. You got people with those stupid 360s, which aren't supposed to be there anymore. And there's vendors coming back on that damn bridge. Anyways, get back on topic. It's overplayed, outplayed by them. It's like they only have like one verse of the entire song. Was a whole song, you know. Um, I think Sinatra is synonymous with everybody in music. Um, I know there's a lot of bands that said a lot of their inspiration comes from the 40s and 50s and the 60s. You know, the the vocals, how they did it back then, the recording, how they did it back then. You know, and I'm sorry, but I ain't gonna sit there and say, oh no no, I'm a huge Sinatra fan. Always have been. Always will be. There's nothing wrong with listening to other things. Right there. You know, Jersey boy, made in New York. Can't go wrong with Sinatra. Period. I know, a little bit weird. I'm a straight up metalhead. And, yeah, but this way, I'm not listening to the fucking mainstream bullshit that's being played, 30 times a fucking day. That everybody has to listen to around the holidays, just to be noticed. Sorry if I want to hear a lady, female singer, hitting high notes that, are sometimes just annoying as she is. I could turn on King Diamond and hear some real vocalists, not one that has mics that are set for her vocal to help produce her voice more. Where King Diamond does use a backing singer, live while he's live, but a lot of these mainstream singers, have to have certain things, redone, before they put it out. And so I would say, people, but if you think that your little hero mainstream singer is actually singing, 95% of the time she's not. Bank on that. Anyways, sorry, I had to get that out of my system. As you can tell, I don't like the mainstream too much. I never have, I never will. Especially shit that's played out. Anyways, next one, a band called Inner Thought. It's really overlooked back in the 90s. They had one other album out from Canada. This is their Perspectives release. This came out in 96. Worldly Separation came out in 93. These guys were death metal mixed with some dark ambient and some industrial. I think it was a great album. I think both the records are severely overlooked. One of my favorite songs, if you guys have this record, you know what I'm talking about, is a song called Tortured, with the lady with the intro. Ask her to be, if he could tell you the secret of something, or I'll be a sex slave. And the guy goes, I have no idea, and it just kicks into it. Great record. Again, overlooked. They only put out two. This came out on Dwell Records in '96. I remember when this came out. It was something new, and then I had to go back to Worldly Separation after I heard this one from them. And I think Worldly Separation is an insanely heavy album. Much like this one, it's a damn good death metal album, heavy record. The vocals are perfect. I think the guitars in this are heavy. I can remember, but like I said, it's this one was death metal and that dark ambient type. It has some industrial thrown in for good measure, but very good record. Very, very good record. If you guys forgot about them, Inner Thought, Perspectives. They also have Worldly Separation, which came out like 94 or something like that. Definitely check them out. Next one, I know this one, people can be like, it's not, I know, Megadeth, their 13th album. I like this record. This came out in 2011, I believe. think it was 2011. Yeah, I like this record. I really, really do. This came after Endgame, um, which I think Endgame was. I think Endgame was a big album for them. Um, I know a lot of people, you know, say, "Oh, their first 5, 6 albums is always is all we need," and that, and those first five were great albums. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Those first four Megadeth records, actually, first 5 or 6, to be honest with you, are some of my favorite records by them, hands down. Rust, my favorite um, masterpiece in my opinion. That, I put Rust 1 and 2 with uh, Slayer's Slayer's Rain and Blood, followed by Master of Puppets by Metallica. Um, but it's really not a bad record. I know this is when they, you know, they they started to maintain that um, more of a heavy metal thrashy type album. Um, I this is some of Dave's best vocals on here too. And it's really not a bad record. It's really not. I mean, can't go wrong with the record right there. And Chris Broderick played on this record. I still say to this day, Chris is an enormous guitar player, especially his technical playing. Um, some of the songs on here just Public Enemy #1. My favorite song off this record is Wrecker and Deadly Nightshade, Never Dead, New World Order Again, Fast Lane. Like I said, it's not a bad Megadeth record. Um, they're working on a new record. There's talk about it being real crunchy, being real heavier than the past one. Um, so we'll see. No, I don't think, to be honest with you, the Sick, the Dying, and the Dead, I think it was called, the one that came out 2022, their last one. I think that album was a pretty good damn record by them. I think it was a damn good comeback record for them. Um, I think that record, it was a lot heavier, a lot more melodic than their ones before. Like say, Endgame definitely like Supercharger is heavier than that one. But yeah, 13 I think is a good record by Megadeth. It's one of those records that grows on you, over time. And that's been probably my top 5 or 6 records by them. That whole you know, thrash metal speed era that they had that a lot of people say they abandoned. Um, I think Megadeth was more of a technical after Rust. Um, what you call it? The one with the babies on it. What's the name of it? The album. It's a run from my eyes too. I think Cryptic was a good album by them. I think they just got more technical with their playing. A hell of a lot more melodic. A lot of their records, but I think Megadeth has always maintained that heaviness of them. That they didn't stray away from their more recent stuff. I know a lot of people said and I agree with them to an extent that they did get away from what Megadeth, was at one point. But come on, you can't duplicate Rust. You can't duplicate Peace Sells. You can't duplicate Killing Is My Business. There's no way. If you do that, that's just saying, okay, we got nothing else to write about. So we're just gonna redo these albums sound the same. And I mean, you do that, you're gonna end up sounding like a good 80% of the bands that are out there today. So, no, I think 13 by Megadeth is a really good album. Um, it's one of those albums that grows on you after a while. Um, you know, it's not a bad album, period, in my opinion. I know people are gonna say different, but hey, you know, teach his own. That's the joy of being a metalhead. You know, people can talk about albums and records and bands and this and that. You know, that's who we are, who I think. But you know, like a lot of people say, listen to what you want to listen to. You know, you don't have to not like something because this person says, oh, you can't listen to it, or this person says, oh, it's shit. No, if you like it, listen to it. You know, I'm sorry, but anybody that tries to impress people or has to impress people now, especially I'm going on 50 years old, you think I give a damn about impressing people? Shit. I didn't care about impressing people back when I was in my teens and my 20s. You think I'm going to start now for people? Come on now. Anyways, next one is Chuck Schuldeiner's side project, Control Denied. I love this record. I love the heaviness of it. Melodic it was. The tempo of it. I think this was some of his best guitar work on this record. From top to bottom, I don't think there's a bad track on this record. You had Shannon Hamm on guitar back on this record. You had Richard Christie on here. Steve DeGiorgio on bass. Steve DeGiorgio, thank you. Damn weather. You know, you had Chuck doing his thing. I know a lot of people frowned at this. Just like a lot of people frowned on him the way he was, you know, towards the end of, you know, death. You know, rest in peace. I still say we lost. I still say when he passed away, we lost a pioneer. The vocalist that had distinct type of vocal that when you heard it, you knew it was him. His playing, I know he got a lot more up tempo and melodic at times. You know, our last couple Death records, which I didn't mind. I still say Death has one of the best catalogs in all of death metal. You know, you added that progressive to it. You added, you know, the mid-tempo sound, the down-tempo sign of it. I did a great. I think this Control Denied record, Fragile Art of Existence, was some of his best work, hands down. I mean, there's not a bad track on this record, not a bad track. They did do a reissue of it. I got it right here. It comes with a bonus disc with it, demos and outtakes of Control Denied and Death. And I think there's a couple songs from Mantis on there too. It's not a bad record, melodic type feel. If you like, if you haven't heard this yet, you've been under a rock for far too long. If you like Nevermore, you'll definitely take to these guys. I dig a lot of Nevermore's albums the same way. But like I said, Control Denied, Fragile Art of Existence. Check this guys. Check this out. They did do a reissue of it. It comes with a bonus disc. It was right here somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, it comes with a bonus disc of it. It has a demos from like 97 on here, 99 demo. It was all part of that Chuck Chuck Schuldiner collection that he did from Relapse. So yeah, you get to get. This is the original of it when it first came out, and I picked this up because of the second disc. Like I say, it's not a bad record by far at all. I think I think it's some of Chuck's best work post death. So, definitely check that album out. Chuck, rest in peace. Next one, I know, like I said in past, when it comes to metal, I'm versatile with metal. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan. I still am of the crossover. I know it's called metalcore now or whatever. Shadows Fall. This is their third release. Art of Balance. My favorite record by them is Of One Blood, which came out in 2000. When I first heard these guys, I didn't realize that Brian Fair was in All That Remains or whatever it was. But he was also in a band. Brian Fair, the lead singer of Shadows, he was in a band called Overcast, band called Downpour, and a few others. I know they were tied in. The original lead singer from Shadows is back in All That Remains. All That Remains is like there's some of the Shadows, that metalcore, hardcore vibe, punk vibe. This is my favorite record by them. I know a lot of people like War Within, which, don't get me wrong, War From Within is an amazing album. So is Retribution by them. I like this record. It's a hard-hitting record. They do a cover of Pink Floyd on here, Welcome to the Machine, Favorite Songs, Destroyer of Senses, Casting Shade, Stepping Outside the Circle, The Idiot Box, was a great song, Fire in Babylon. They have a new record coming out in 2025, which I'm looking forward to it. It's been a while since we had a new Shadows Fall. It's called In the Gray. They've dropped a couple singles on here for it. It sounds pretty good. I like Brian's vocals. I always have. Jason is back in the band. Remember, he was in Crisis for a while. He was in Stigmata for a while. He was in Flotsam as a touring drummer. He was in Anthrax touring drummer. He was in Overkill for, I think, 2 records. Yeah, so he's been all over the place. He was there was 2 other bands, I forgot bands. I want to say Toxic was another band he was in for a period of time, doing a couple albums here and there, filling in, being a touring drummer, because there was so much time between now and the last Shadows Fall record. So now with Shadows Fall getting back together, recording, getting a new album out, he's put all his attention, for his work on the upcoming record and tours with Shadows Fall. Which, first time I saw Shadows Fall, oh god, I think it was 2000. Like when I first saw them, they opened up for King Diamond on House of God tour, and right away I was, was blown away by them, because just how heavy they were, just that distinct sound that they had, is, kids call it today metalcore, but it'll always be to me crossover. Shadows Fall has still has that sound like, Lamb of God has Hatebreed, some aspects of it. Burn the Priest, which is pre Lamb of God. Yeah, so a lot of things you hear from Lamb of God off those first 2 records are basically Burn the Priest stuff. Excuse me. definitely check out New Shadows Fall. Like I said, In the Grade, coming out 2025. I think early 2025, if I'm not mistaken. One of the next bands I want to say, I know a lot of people know this band, like this band. I've been in this band since day one. Sabaton, or Spatin, or however you guys want to say it. A very powerful band, progressive band, symphonic band. They write about war, fantasy things, history. I'm a huge war buff, huge history buff. It was my favorite subject in high school and beyond. The things they write about is what really caught my attention with this band. Um, Powerful songs, powerful messages. Have not seen them live yet. Man, I'm dying to see live. A couple times that I was supposed to go see them. I had to work, or I wasn't feeling good, or I had surgery, or something along that line. They are working on something. Next year, it would be 20 years for them. Um, Hardly they've been out. It seems so much longer for them. But their first album came out in '05, early '05. Remember that? Um, Great band. Um, if you're into like Symphony X, Primal Fear, um, Fate's Warning, Dream Theater, bands along that line, definitely check these guys out. Band that's been doing it for 20 years, and it's still going. Phenomenal albums, top to bottom. This is one band I can honestly say, progressive power metal, symphonic type that have had, in my opinion, no bad records, start to finish till now. I've seen concerts of them. I know people that went to see them, and what I can see on here, watching videos, they're absolutely amazing live. So definitely, this was the Last Stand record. This came out in 2012. It's one of my favorite records by them, because they write about, you know, the wars and things like that, and history and fiction and fantasy, shit like that. Absolutely great band. Um, Albums are just, if you're into wars like I am, history and things like that, past events, definitely check those guys out. You know, you just when you hear it, you can feel the realness of them, the excitement of them, and their lyrics are just some of the best writings. You know, I mean, they pull from the wars, you know, and they incorporate it into their music. But I think it's absolutely great. Definitely, 20 years next year. I can't wait to see what they're gonna do. Do check them out. One of the next ones, a band called Lazarus AD. They only put out 2 records. These guys were very good, speed metal thrash. Like a group. If you were into like Evile, Testament, Exodus, Exhorder, Havoc, bands along that line, even early Pantera, which I think, honestly, I think if this band would have gone a little bit further, I think I want to say they're a little bit better than Pantera, and that's no bullshit. This is the album, The Onslaught. They had one that came out. This came out in '07, '09. They only came out in '11. I forgot the name of it right now. It's right over there. I don't think I wrote it down while I was doing this. Black Rivers Flow, I think that was called. But it came out in 2011. Not a bad record. Both their records are really good. Old school thrash mixed with some speed, some groove. Very good, very underrated record in my opinion. I've been playing this one a lot in between, like stuff that I showed you and a lot of the new stuff. This one, Absolute Power, Rebirth, Lust, Forged in Blood, my favorite, Thou Shalt Not Fear, um, Damnation for the Walk, or Damnation for the Weak. But definitely, if you guys haven't, you guys forgot about these guys, check them out. Lazarus AD, they only put out like 2 records and a couple EPs. They put out an EP, I think in 15, I think it was. Nothing came out of it, which I'm surprised because these guys, I would have loved to see how far these guys could have gone if they kept going with it. Definitely check them out. It's the Onslaught. Lazarus AD. This came out on Metal Blade back in the day, '09. Definitely check them out. All right, one of the last ones that I've been spinning. Perdition Temple, my favorite record by them. The Tempter's Victorious. This is like their 4th release, I believe. Merciless Upheaval was their last one. Came out 2022, I think it was. I got it over there somewhere. Dark and black metal, or dark and death metal, black and death metal. Some war metal thrown in. Great band. I've been in these guys since I first heard them a few years ago. You see them right there. And their last one was a monster record. This is my favorite record by them, without a doubt. This is also out on Hell's Headbangers. Goddess and Death is like one of my favorite tracks by them, period. Doomsday Chosen, another very, very heavy track by these guys. Very heavy. Check them out. Perdition Temple, Hell's Headbangers, Conqueror's Victorious. Check them out. Black metal, black and dark and death metal, and some war metal thrown in. A little bit of cold, heavy record. Well, I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If any of these, if you remember any of these, feel free to drop it in the comments section. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Like I said, you guys said on one of my last streams I did, I'm going to be doing a top 50 relatively soon. I started going through more stuff that I already had. I was going to do past reviews that I did before I started doing YouTube, but I might just save that for like the top 50 that I'm going to do. That's probably going to be like end of December. I think I mentioned it. I got some stuff coming through Bandcamp and some other label, like Agonia Records. I got some stuff coming. Metal Blade, I think, and a few others. So whatever reason, they're running late, or they've been pushed back by either the band or the label or the distributor. So I'm hoping I get everything I want to talk about by the end of the year. I'm hoping by the time I do it, I got everything. If not, I'll talk about the ones that I want to talk about. If I don't get them, like I said, I listen to me either on YouTube or I'll listen to me on Bandcamp or iTunes, and I'll get the album. I think you guys know already. I've said a million times. I'm the type of person that, I like having the physical copy of it. Talking about it while I'm holding it, showing you guys the CDs, artwork, the whole 9 yards. I don't like just talking about a record that I don't have yet. I know people do put up the graphics, which is fine. They're playing it. I'm still learning how to do all that crap. But I like doing it the way I'm doing it. I've been getting great feedback from people out here that I've talked to, channels I found, along that line. But I want to say, again, thank you for everybody for tuning in. I mentioned Lee from Warhammer 666. Go check out his new stuff on Bandcamp. Order it. Support the underground. Support the small bands. Support the indie bands. Support the indie labels. Stay away from these big box stores, chains that are selling the shit. Just go support the mom and pop shops, your local record shop, local CD shop. I know here in Jersey we're having pop-ups, the punk rock festival or whatever it is, flea market is happening. There's places all around here, you know, mom and pop places in the city. You got Generation Records, Vintage Vinyl, places along that line. I'm gonna be doing some live streams. I'm gonna be going to a place right by me. Some of you guys might know the name Rock Fantasy. He's right here in Hudson Valley. He's literally like 5 minutes from me. Guy named Steve. He's like, come in here, do live stream. That place is that's been my go-to. I think I mentioned it before. I've been going there 3 years now, just about, and it's like a place where I think the least I've spent in there was probably maybe $100. The least. I think the highest I spent is probably just about 400. Yeah, he has everything: vinyl, tape, CDs, shirts, all in one. I will definitely do a live stream from there. Charging my gimbals up, getting those all set. There's other things coming up. Either at the end of December or January, I'm going to be going to Generation Records to get some stuff. And I'm going to do a live stream from there. I might do a couple live streams from some other places that day that I know of, some shops in the city, especially in the East Village, definitely. But thank you again for tuning in. Please feel free to share the channel, do whatever, like it, please. Subscribe. I haven't said it. I know I haven't said that in a while, but you know. Also, leave comments in the comment box. I always like comments from people. Check out Shredbeard, crazy North Cali dude with long beard. Lee from Warhammer 6.6, a crazy Aussie now living in Germany, Jersey. Kai, Paul, awesome Hawaiian death metal. Check out his stuff on here. Got 2 albums out. Drucifer is in a band called Infuriator, and something else. I forgot the name of that band. It slipped my mind. Check out the channels. For Romium Productions. It's going to be a new label and distributor. Check them out. Again, stay hard, stay heavy, stay metal, stay brutal. Support the metal scene, support the underground. Fuck the mainstream and all that Mariah Carey bullshit. Right there. Anyways, stay hard, stay heavy, stay metal, stay brutal. This is the Bulldog saying, have a good day. If you're going to do something, make it count. I'm out.